What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Thrill Life podcast here on Coasters and Things YouTube channel. Jason's not here. Where'd he go, guys? Oh, yeah, he's in another country right now. He's actually in Italy. So instead of me doing the podcast by myself, I figured why not have two guests on again? So this week I am joined by Tyler at PMF Coasters on Instagram and Ethan at boilercoasters on Instagram. So Tyler, how you doing today, man?
I'm good.
Chilling? Yeah. Ethan, what about you?
Doing pretty well. Another long week almost coming to an end.
Yeah, for real, man. It's almost the end of the year. It's crazy. The season flew by, and I had the opportunity to meet up with both of these guys back in the summer. Tyler at Great Adventure. It was his first time ever at Great Adventure. It was an awesome day. And Ethan, I guess you could say, kind of hung out at Cedar Point, even though we didn't ride anything. If you want to mention that in brief, what exactly happened?
Yeah, we kind of met each other at the end of the day, and we were like thinking what to do. And since I know how much you said you love Maverick, we like, why not ride Maverick again? And then we were like almost at the front of the line, and then the ride goes down for the rest of the day. So we didn't get to ride anything. But then made up a couple months later, Great Adventure got to ride Skull Mountain. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, no, definitely. It sucks we didn't get the Maverick night ride, but hey, at least we got to meet up and we finally got to ride a coaster together just a couple weeks ago from when we're recording this on Skull Mountain. So yeah, in today's episode, instead of our normal 5 topics again, just because, the amusement park season is almost over, there's not as much news coming out lately. So we're going to talk about our home parks and their holiday and Christmas events. So Tyler, what is your home park for those that don't know?
Yeah, for those of you that know me, I'm Tyler. I'm PMF Coasters on Instagram. My home park is Canada's Wonderland. I'm only 15 minutes away from the park.
Right. And then Ethan, what about you?
My home park is Cedar Point, but of course they don't have a winter event. So my closest winter event to me is Kings Island, which is about 3.5 hours from me.
Right. And Tyler, you've been to Winterfest at Canada's Wonderland, what did you say, 3 times now?
Yeah, I've been to Winterfest 3 times this year so far.
Okay. And then Ethan, obviously we saw each other at Holiday in the Park at Great Adventure. And then you went to Kings Island Winterfest, about a week ago?
Last weekend, yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to dive into all that in today's episode. So why not start with PMF himself, Tyler? Let's hear a little bit about Canada's Wonderland. So what attractions are open? Because just let me mention one more thing and then the floor is yours. All 3 of these parks, Kings Island, Great Adventure, and Canada's Wonderland, are all on the East Coast. So it's not like parks in Florida or California. The temperatures vary. So rides are open if it's too cold, if it's warm enough, it's different anytime you go. But what are the coasters that are like supposed to be open all the time? Obviously, if it's like 15 degrees, they might not run a coaster, but.
So this year, there's a lot more bigger ones open. Like the one that surprises me the most is Sledgehammer. Because like over the years, Sledgehammer has been has difficulties opening even during opening years. During the regular season, it's like the top-filled dragster of Wonderland. but this year it's been going so well, but I was not expecting that to be opening for Winterfest, and so it's amazing that that's open. Another one that's a big one this year is Cyclone, which is running really well, which is also open for Winterfest this year. In terms of coasters, the number 1 in the park, Thunder Run's open.
That's the you said Cyclone. That's the pendulum, right?
Yeah, that's the pendulum ride, and that thing runs a lot faster in the winter than it is in the summer. And the summertime is so compared to the way it's running right now.
Wow! And you said Thunder Run, is that the only coaster that's open?
The other one's Taxi Jam.
Taxi Jam. Okay. I'm a little surprised they don't run Wonder Mountain's Guardian. It could be. Do you think it's staffing? Do they have less staff now than they do in the summer?
I don't know what it is. I've heard stuff about maybe next year they're gonna try to get more coasters open.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, there was that COVID year that they didn't open at all, so they're probably slowly, getting everything back to how it once was. Because this is what I want to ask: in years past, were any of the B&M coasters open or no
No,
during Winterfest?
no.
No. Okay.
2019 was the first year for Winterfest, so like Winterfest is still really new for this park.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah. Because like you look at Great Adventure, they have Nitro, Batman the Ride, Superman Ultimate Flight. Green Lantern normally is open, but it's closed as of right now because it's supposedly getting a new lift motor and possibly a repaint next year, which I heard it's a rumor.
Oh, that's
Which I mean, yeah, I mean that wouldn't be a bad thing because they repainted Superman either 2018 or 20. They repainted Superman in 2019, and I mean Green Lantern looks even worse now that it's next to like a relatively new like coaster that just got painted.
yeah.
So yeah, that does kind of surprise me that Wonderland doesn't operate any of the B&Ms, and then obviously they don't have any indoor coasters besides Wonder Mountain's Guardian. Besides, like they don't have a Flight of Fear clone.
And like I could see more opening down the road in the future. Like you can tell they're trying to get more open, especially it's noticeable when they open Sledgehammer and Cyclone this year. If I had to pick a BMN that I could see most likely opening in the future, it will be Behemoth, because the reasons behind Wonderland not opening their big rides is more than just the cold weather and that. They're afraid of like for example Leviathan. Leviathan
Okay.
open because they're afraid of because we're closer with north and colder weather and with ice and snow. They're afraid that with how fast Leviathan goes, that the ice will hit somebody in the parking lot once it was going.
Oh my god.
Pretty much, that's pretty much the excuse. I
Wow.
guess at least I kind of get it because like I've seen it with Wonderland in the snow, so I kind of get why they're not doing it. But
Yeah.
if they do want to try to get one of the bigger ones open, Behemoth would be the safe option because where Behemoth is with the location, Behemoth is nowhere near people at all. It's like closer to Splashworks, so the layout's more from the Splashworks to the people who are entering the park. So Behemoth would be the safe option to try.
I mean, Leviathan. I mean, I've never been to Canada's Wonderland, so I guess I can't really say. But from what you've told me and what I've like seen in people's videos, Leviathan is basically a parking lot roller coaster, and Behemoth is more of a out and back like Nitro almost.
Yeah, like the best shots to get from Behemoth is from Splashworks.
And then Leviathan, you can really get footage from like
And,
almost everywhere in that parking lot.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So Ethan, what attractions are open at Kings Island Winterfest?
Not a lot. I'll start by saying that. So regarding roller coasters, there are only 3 roller coasters at Winterfest. Those are Mystic Timbers, Flight of Fear, and the Great Pumpkin Coaster. I think it's what it's still called. I don't know if they changed the name recently.
I actually think Wonderland might be the only Cedar Fair park that is their kiddie coaster is Taxi Jam, or is Carowinds.
Carowinds used to be. It's not anymore by my.
It's like it's like Lucy's Krabby Cabbies or something.
That's
now, right?
Carowinds one, I think, or King's Dominion, one of the two.
Nah, King's Dominion is Great Pumpkin. I think it's Carowinds.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, I don't know. So the only one that's called Taxi Jam now is Wonderland. But anyway, you said
also don't forget that Cedar Point also has like Wilderness Run. That's not, I guess, a clone of Great Pumpkin Coaster, but it is a kiddie coaster at Cedar Fair Park. So,
I'm saying like of ones that are named Taxi Jam.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So Mystic Timbers, I mean, that's a good ride to have open during Winterfest. So that gives you a reason. It gives you a reason to go.
Absolutely.
Open.
So how many rides did you get on it when you were just there?
I got 5 rides on it. The park was
Solid.
only open for like 6 hours. We didn't even stay the whole 6 hours because we already got plenty of rides in that we didn't need more. But we got 5 rides in on Mystic Timbers. Every time I was with a friend of mine from work, who's also a coaster enthusiast, and we did the single rider line each time. Surprise, surprise, the Cedar Fair Park has a single rider line. And I was like, it's usually the fast lane line. But for this specific event, they made a single rider line, which is actually like really, really cool because
Yeah, that is.
we'd be able to take advantage of it, and we for a line that was like an hour long, we'd get on the ride in like 15 minutes. So that was really, really nice. And I got to ride in towards the front once, and I also got the very back row once. So it was very cool.
Yeah, I wish more parks had single rider lines. Like
Yeah.
they're awesome. Hershey Park still has a few single rider lines. Obviously, if you look at like Disney or Universal, some of their attractions have single rider lines, which are great. Um, I don't know if Hagrid's has a single rider line, but I
It does.
think it does. Okay, that's good to
Mhm.
know. Does Velocicoaster?
Yeah. Well, actually, I could talk about that because I went to Universal
Ooh.
last year.
Yeah, I'm going to Universal in May with my high school for senior trip, so I'm like
And
starting
guess
to.
what? I'm going in like 3 weeks.
Are you really?
Yeah, I'm going to
Lucky.
Universal and then like a Disney park with my family. So it's like a nice family Christmas vacation.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um, but yeah, speaking of that, Velocicoaster does have a single rider line, but we never used it when we were there last year because the regular line moves so fast. Like 45 minutes will go by in a blur when you're in that line. They send out trains so fast on that thing. Like that line moves so fast, you don't even notice. Honestly, that line might be faster than the single rider line. And then Hagrid's also does have a single rider line, which was a bit slower, but it was still nice to like cut the line a little bit, especially when I've already seen the entire inside of the queue. It's basically just a side stairwell you go down for Hagrid's single rider queue. But I don't know if they still have it this year. I guess we'll find out in a couple weeks. But I know based on last year's experience, they did have that then.
Yeah, I mean, single rider lines are key during Halloween events and Christmas events.
Absolutely.
Definitely Halloween events because that is the most crowded time of year at amusement parks. I mean,
Uh,
I did.
Single rider line comes so handy for me with the bat at Wonderland.
Oh, I'm sure, but and then during Christmas events as well because there's only select attractions that are open. So like the lines can get very long. Like
Oh yeah.
apparently, I forget which park it was. Oh yeah, at Hershey, apparently Laugh Track's line got up to a 3 hour wait
Ooh.
last weekend.
I waited 2 hours for that thing earlier this year, and I barely could handle that. Only reason I did wait in that line was because it was raining and everything else was closed.
Yeah,
But
I mean you'd be surprised.
besides the mirrors, I don't like that line too
You'd
long.
be surprised how long of a line Laugh Track gets even during the summer. But like
Yeah, I learned the hard way with my first trip there.
yeah, but like I said, there's not that many attractions open during Christmas events because of the weather and Laugh Track's in indoor coasters. So Great Adventures able to, or I'm sorry, not Great Adventure. Hershey's able to have it open during Christmas, except the con of that is that it gets a very long line. So any other notable attractions open at Kings Island, Ethan, during Winterfest?
Yeah, I can talk about some more. So I talked about the three coasters, Mystic
Okay.
Timbers, Flight of Fear, which is actually renamed to Flight of Cheer for this event. So you kind of know like Boo Streak at Cedar Point or Black Widow at Six Flags Great America. Kings
Oh,
Island did the same thing. They changed it to Flight of Cheer. There wasn't really much. It was just a couple of Christmas trees and ornaments in the queues, but no theming on the ride itself. It was pretty cool. Great Pumpkin Coaster, of course. Then they had a couple other cool rides. They had the anti-car rides open, which I did for the first time this past week, even though I've been to Kings Island like 10 times now.
Okay.
They had Boo Blasters open. And then they had this really, I'll tell you about this one interesting ride they had. In the area by Banshee and the Drop Tower, they placed in this slide thing, like this row of six slides on a platform that looks like snow, but it's just carpet. And you grab these tubes from the bottom, walk up a stairwell, and then you go down this slide and like race your friends. It's kind of like a fun fair slide, but it's pretend snow, I guess. But
Yeah,
me and my friend did it twice, and like I could tell a lot of kids there really loved that ride. So it was like a great way to kind of get away from the big thrilling rides, and a lot of people really enjoyed that. So that was probably the most interesting ride we saw there, and biggest surprise too.
Do they have that at Winterfest at Wonderland Tower or no?
No, they don't. But me and my friend Matt were talking about that one day because, like, can you imagine if Wonderland had something like this? I was like, yeah, that would actually be really cool. I would love for something like that.
Yeah, no, it sounds really cool. Nothing quite like that at Holiday in the Park at Great Adventure. I'll just mention a few things in brief. So the notable attractions that are open at Great Adventure are Nitro, Jersey Devil Coaster, Justice League Battle for Metropolis, Wonder Woman Lasso of Truth, which, well, all right, it's really cold. I'm just gonna say that it's not a ride I'd recommend riding during Holiday in the Park just because of how freezing it is on your face. I mean, I rode
That's how I felt
Nitro.
on Nitro.
I rode Nitro in the front row when I went to Holiday in the
Me
Park
too.
2 weeks ago, and
Me
that
too.
was pretty damn cold
And
as
I did
well.
not have a hood this
But
time, so I had to close my eyes instead of wear my hood over my face like I usually do on cold rides. But that was probably the coldest. Actually, no, Mystic Timbers last week was the coldest roller coaster I ever
yeah,
rode. Nitro's a close second.
yeah, and then Skull Mountain, the Dark Knight coaster, so both of the indoor coasters, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Crazy Train, and I think I hit everything, and
Superman.
Superman Ultimate Flight. Yeah, so basically the whole back section with King Ka, El Toro, Medusa. Now, here's what I will say. If Medusa was on the right side of the park where Nitro is, I would probably think that Medusa would be open. I think it's just because of where it's located that there's no reason for them to open it because it's like tucked away in this back corner when all the other rides surrounded by it aren't open and people are just walking, far to the very back of the park for one attraction. So I kind of understand why they don't open it. But if it was on the other side of the park, yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be open because Batman's open, Nitro's open, like all the other B&M coasters are open. Besides Green Lantern, like I said, because it's getting the lift motor. But
Honestly, I'm glad that I not like Green Lantern.
in previous years, Green Lantern has been open during Holiday in the Park. So come next year, it should be open again. But yeah, I mean, if you look at all the parks, Great Adventure has the most open, at least more than Wonderland and Kings Island. That could be Six Flags. They just don't care as much. But I don't know. I don't know what the reason is. But so let's talk about some of the food options and the shows and just some of like the special events that are going on around the park. So Ethan, you mentioned the tube slides, obviously. Anything else? You can ice skate, right?
Yeah, you can ice skate in the. I didn't do it, obviously. I don't ice skate whatsoever. But
Yeah, you don't want
in the
see me ice skate.
yeah,
It's
don't
not
mess with
pretty.
me. If yeah, you don't want to take me ice skating or anything. I'm not good at it all. But
Maybe Tyler, you play hockey or you did play hockey, right?
Oh yeah, I still do.
Can you ice skate?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, not me. I'll just fall down. Roller
I can
hockey, count me
rollerblade
in.
though, but I can't ice skate.
Yeah, roller hockey, count me in. Ice hockey, nah, I'm good.
Yeah. But yeah, they had the fountain from the entrance back to the Eiffel Tower. It was an ice skating rink, so people, they rented, I guess, their ice skates from some place near where Skyline Chili is, and then they went ice skating in there, and it was actually pretty cool to see. They had a couple other things. They had this cool ice sculpture area over by the Banshee area, like I talked about before. They had some pretty cool ice sculptures, and there's like someone actually working on that. So kind of like if you go to like a park and they're making those wood carvings, it was like that, but they were making have ice. So that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
They had a couple other cool things. They had some shows. They had parade. I didn't really see the parade much because I was in the Banshee area, as I was talking before during
Does
the
that
parade.
go down International Street, the parade?
Yeah, based on what I saw, it went down the arcade area. I think it's called Coney Mall. Down past like Racer, then
Okay.
then over by the Eiffel Tower, and then around International Street.
Wait, so you said Flight of Fear is open. So does that mean the entire area, like back by Orion, is open? They just kind of.
Orion's not open.
I know Orion's not open, but I'm saying that whole area is open then.
Area 72, yes. Area 72, yeah. You could like walk through there and get straight to Flight of Fear, Flight of Cheer. But Orion, actually pretty cute decoration. It just like instead of a sign that said like this ride's closed for this event, instead of having like a chained sign, it had like a wreath and a bunch of ornaments instead, just to show the ride's closed. But yeah, you and the carnival games in Coney Mall were still open, and then you could just walk right into Area 72 and go straight to Play of Fear. Yeah, all of that. You can walk around the entire park basically. You just couldn't go on the rides, besides the ones I talked about before.
Yeah, like I said at Great Adventure, you can't walk around the entire park because that whole back section with Golden Kingdom, Plaza del Carnival, and Frontier Adventures, that's all fenced off. So you can't even walk back there even if you wanted to, which I guess kind of makes sense. If nothing's going to be open back there, then yeah, just fence it off. There's no point. But except for us coaster enthusiasts that want to take pictures of the rides. But yeah, so what about at Wonderland, Tyler? What kind of special things are going on around the park?
So there is a lot of shows that are going around the park. I haven't seen many of the shows yet this year, but they are the same from last year. I haven't seen many of them this year yet because I was mostly marathoning Sledge and Cyclone. Um, but the shows are from some of the shows like Tinker's Toy Factory. It's inside the for those that don't know the park, it's in the medieval times like castle that they put shows in for like in the summertime and that.
Okay.
So it's the most popular show. Everyone loves it. Another one is the tree lighting around 5:30 that they have. So like right when you enter the park, they have a tree lighting ceremony. They have a show. They turn off the lights and then like 3, 2, 1, they have all the tree lighting going on. And that's when the park gets busy. So like my advice to people is like if you want to get your rides in, come right at 3. Go to the Fun to Run side of the park because those 2 hours the park is dead until like 5:30 because people don't show up until that tree lighting starts around 5:30. Then you can get Fun to Run and all done. And like you said about rides not being open, Sludge and Cyclone never get busy because it's mostly family, so no one really goes that side of the park. So most of the day when people are watching a show, Sledgehammer and Cyclone are a complete walk on.
That is pretty crazy that two of their more thrilling flat rides, I guess you could say, are open during Winterfest.
Yeah.
Especially Sledgehammer.
Yeah. And one of the cool things outside the rides that are also good, like what he said at Kings Island, Wonderland does the same thing with their fountain. You can skate on there. They have different renovations. It's like I believe it's $15 if you rent skates. It's $10 without if you bring your own.
Oh, you can bring your own. That's nice.
Yeah, they allow you to bring your own if you want to. Another thing is there's also like this all the lights and everything around the place. Like one of my favorite areas is around Vortex. Yeah, they use the houses that they have around that they use for the haunted house. They turn into like Christmas houses like you would see on a regular neighborhood house, like Christmas lights, and they're like flashing everywhere. They have music going on. It's a pretty cool thing. One of the other popular things for the kids in the Kidsville area is that there's like this dance party thing where they're like people are dancing all over the place. You get to dance with the dancers that are up there. It's pretty cool for the kids in that. And then just like and the food is like way better than it is in the summer. Like the food in Winterfest is like you wish it would be like that than compared to the summer. I know there's a lot of enthusiasts in the community that do complain about the food at this park. Mainly one of the best places in the park for food is Lazy Bear, which is our new restaurant that just opened up 2 months ago. If you're a vegan, like I know there's a couple people that like vegan food. There's a couple options there. Vegetarian. There's like also there's like chicken fingers, fries, macaronis. I think there's like some turkey dinner or whatever there as well.
That's cool.
And also coasters also steps up too. The coaster driving that you see at other Cedar Fair parks. One of the things that is noticeable that you don't really see at that they don't usually have at Coaster Drive-In that they do this year, like they have like brownies and desserts there also for Winterfest.
Nice.
So which is like something weird that you don't normally see at Coaster Drive-In anywhere. So that's also pretty cool.
They don't have like desserts there because like Dorney, you said Coasters Drive-In, and there's Coasters Drive-In. Is there one at Kings Island? I know there's one at Cedar Point.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, there's one pretty much everywhere. I know
I feel like
There's
they do have one. I just didn't see it. I guess.
there's one at King's Dominion. I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's just called Jukebox Cafe over by Twisted Timbers.
I mean,
But
I feel like I did see it. It looked like a Johnny Rockets, but like the sign was completely different. It said like some sort of Christmas themed restaurant. But I feel like that if that was Coasters Drive-In, that would make a lot of sense.
yeah, but like in years past at Dorney, they've had these like giant milkshakes at Coasters Drive-In. So what
Yeah,
you're saying is at Wonderland, they don't normally have desserts there?
they have the milkshakes usually, but they have more desserts than they usually do in the regular season for Winterfest.
Oh, you said like brownies and cookies and stuff?
Yeah, they don't normally have those. Like those are new for that area.
That's cool. So now I'll talk a little bit about Holiday in the Park at Great Adventure. Some of the food and shows. Obviously, I already mentioned all the rides that are open. Ethan, you can help me with this since you got the chance to visit as well on the same day. So they have a ton of attractions open. But then you look at the food. In years past at Granny's, which is one of the bigger, or I guess better food locations at the park, they've had a holiday platter, which is like mac and cheese, corn, mashed potatoes, turkey, kind of like Thanksgiving food.
I've
Which
had
you
them
could
before.
get.
Amusement parks. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like you could get it at Granny's in years past. You can't anymore. Well, they still have some sort of like holiday platter, but it's not what it used to be. Um, that's pretty much it. They have s'mores. I actually did do this with my friend. You could buy like a pack of s'mores already made, like the chocolate's already melted on the graham cracker, and then they give you the marshmallow and the stick, and you can get s'mores. I actually
That
got them
was pretty cool. I didn't do it myself, or none of my friends did either. But like, it was pretty cool to see people making s'mores, like at amusement park of all places. So that was pretty cool in my opinion.
Yeah, and they have like fire pits everywhere. I mean, you could just stand by them
Kings
if you
Island
wanted
did
to.
too, so it's a good thing they had a fire
Yeah,
pit.
you could just stand by them to warm up. You don't actually have to like get s'mores, which was pretty
Exactly.
cool. But I got them
Especially
free.
need that at Kings Island because it got cold that night. It was like
Oh, I'm sure.
28
Yeah.
degrees by park close, so we definitely needed those fireplaces for sure.
Well, the day we were there was like 50 degrees. We actually got a nice day. But
Yeah, for Great Adventure, I'm saying for Kings Island, but
yeah, no, it can
yeah.
get cold. But yeah, you don't actually have to get the s'mores to stand by the fire pit. They're spread out all around the park, and you can just go there and warm up and warm your hands or whatever you want to do. But yeah, I got them for free with my season pass, which was pretty cool. But outside of those two things, I guess you could say there's not that many changes when it comes to food. As for the shows, they have some sort of some sort of tree lighting ceremony, which is synced to music that they have on the big tree, which is where the fountain normally is during the summer. Then they have Frost in the Showcase Theater, which I did not get the chance to see, but I have seen in years past, and it's overall the same show every year, just sometimes different music and different performers. So, anything else you noted? What did you think of the lights, Ethan, compared to Winterfest? Is Winterfest better?
Um, I'd say so. Yeah, I think Winterfest had like a lot more festive lights. Great Adventure definitely had some cool lights. I like the red trees right by Joker, or were they blue? They were some color, but like they looked pretty cool. Um,
The giant Santa inflatable, typical Six Flags move right there.
yeah,
We'll
and
just
then the
blow
candy
something up
cane
and
area by Superman was pretty cool too. At Great Adventure. But Kings Island had some really, really cool light decorations. The centerpiece, obviously, being the Eiffel Tower, surrounded by all these different colorful lights that illuminate pretty much every second. They just change colors every second. That was amazing. There's an area I've seen in other parks before in the back. It's like showing like what's supposed to be like an icicle, and like the color beams are like going down and going back to the top. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I felt like Kings Island event felt more festive. I'm not blowing Great Adventure. Great Adventure is definitely felt festive. It had a nice Christmas tree. It had a lot of cool lights. But Kings Island felt a lot more like it was winter, and like you could tell it's like the holiday season when you're at Kings Island. But it's not blowing Great Adventure. They had a great event too.
yeah, I enjoy Holiday in the Park at Great Adventure. I mean, I didn't even go to Fright Fest this year. And with El Toro still not open, like, who knows if it ever will reopen. They are doing retracking right now, so it's really just going to come down to if New Jersey approves the ride to reopen. So fingers crossed there.
I think it's gonna happen.
You think it will?
Yeah, I don't. It's hard to believe no Great Adventure with no Toro.
I like your optimism, dude. I do. I hope so. I got the shirt on right here. I have so much. I have like 3 El Toro shirts. I think I have a hoodie. Awesome ride. Still in my top 5. I could go on about it forever, even though can be rough, which isn't always a bad thing, right, Tyler? Oh, we lost Tyler.
Uh-oh. Right as you say that.
You there, Tyler?
Never mind. There he is. That's just hilarious irony right there.
Yeah, right. Like I do enjoy Holiday in the Park at Great Adventure, but I've never been to a Winterfest, and Winterfest looks just more complete, I guess you could say, and just overall better. And that could just be a Cedar Fair over Six Flags thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll definitely take Six Flags with a better ride collection than Kings Island, but the overall package, I guess, that comes with the Kings Island Winterfest, honestly made it more enjoyable. I don't know though; they were both really good events. Can't really decide which one's better. Up and Tyler's gone.
He's probably gonna just rejoin. Technical difficulties. This isn't the first time. This isn't the first time we've had this or had issues on this podcast.
I tested my Wi-Fi before the show, so I hope it doesn't go out. Full spectrum.
So last thing, hopefully Tyler rejoins us. If not, he's been a great guest. Would you recommend both Great Adventure Holiday in the Park and Kings Island Winterfest?
I said I would. I say I would. Obviously, like both parks, like biggest attractions aren't open, but I don't think it really matters because you can still go to those parks in the summer and ride those anytime. But just for like the winter fest itself, I still think it's a really cool, opportunity to, just hang out at the park in like a time different than, any other time during the summer. It's like much more laid back, I feel, than during the summer when everything is open and it's all like hustle bustle, get to every ride. Here you can like take your time a little bit because not all the rides are open. And it's a good
way to look at it.
And another thing about that, I also really appreciate about these winter events is that, especially parks where like the big rides are closed, is you get to appreciate the rides you normally wouldn't go on more. For example, I have examples for both parks. Great Adventure, I got to ride the parachute drop tower. That was really cool. I got to ride.
Yeah, that's been there since the 70s. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew it was an old ride. I don't know if it was that old, but like it was very cool to do that. And then the top spin as well. I got to do Cyborg, Justice League. There are a couple others me and my friends got to do, but like, and then for Kings Island, I got to do the antique cars for the first time. Boo Blast,
yeah, which is
fun.
I'm sure that's not something. Sure, that's not something you would do during the summer when all the roller coasters are open.
Usually it's just marathoning all the roller coasters, but like this time you actually get to experience, the smaller, more family-oriented rides, including like the train at Kings Island. That was open. It opened late during the event, but I still got to do it and had some really cool Christmas decorations. They were playing 12 Days of Christmas and a couple other songs, but it was very, very, very cool. I like say you like your home park and you only ride the coasters there. Maybe going to like the winter event would be a good way to get rides in that you normally wouldn't do during the summer. That's really my takeaway with that.
Yeah, no, I like everything you said there. That is all very good way to look at it. I mean, it does it sucks like walking around the park and seeing rides, especially if you're going to like, I'll use Great Adventure as example. If you go to Great Adventure for your first time during Winterfest and King Ka is not open, it sucks, but there's really nothing you can do about it because it's all for safety reasons and, the weather, and some coasters just aren't able to operate in cold temperatures. B&Ms are, which is definitely one of the better like things about B&M roller coasters, that they're able to run in colder temperatures. But yeah.
Well, at least you've actually gone to ride King Ka before.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, plenty of times. I'm saying for other people.
I'm saying it was closed on both of my visits to Great Adventure.
You've never been on it?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, that
I've
sucks.
been twice. My first time I went to Coaster Power Hours, and King of the Cow was closed the entire event.
Tyler and I have been on it together. I'll insert the photo right here. So Tyler,
Next time, I've
last
ridden
thing
Draxer plenty of times though, so it's not like I haven't ridden.
you have, well, you have that over
Technically,
me
I
then.
have.
All right, Tyler, last thing, dude, and then we're gonna wrap up. You probably didn't hear any of this because you were having technical
Yeah,
difficulties.
sorry, my friend was calling me, so I just had to leave and tell him I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, no worries. So overall, would you recommend Canada's Wonderland Winterfest? That's the last thing I'm gonna ask.
Yes. I think if you're an enthusiast, for Sludge and Cyclone, yes, I think it's more fun with friends. If I know there's a few that like going by themselves, this is not that type of an event. If you like going by yourself, unless you want to marathon Sludge and Cyclone all day, which I do, so it doesn't matter. So, but it's definitely more fun with friends and family. Uh, um, but I do recommend it at least to try it once. If if you if you pick a good day to go, I you could get a dead day. Like the best days I've seen so far is Sundays, and the park is usually dead, and those are the best days to go because not only the rides are not busy, you can feel the atmosphere of the park more if it's dead with the lighting and the shows and the characters that are walking around the park. So I say go for it.
Yeah, I'd still recommend going to Great Adventure during Holiday in the Park as well, I think. And I said this to my friend when we were leaving. I was like, it's just my friend from school. He's not an enthusiast. But I said, like, you think it was worth coming? He was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. There was plenty for us to do. We stayed about like 4 hours and we hit everything we wanted to except Batman the Ride. I don't know why. It didn't have a long line. We just never got around to riding it. But we rode everything else we wanted to ride. So, yeah, can't complain.
But
So
I don't think it's worth it if you're coming far away. I think you're gonna want to wait for the summer when everything's open, because like especially if you're an enthusiast, you're definitely gonna want to wait when Leviathan, Behemoth, and Vortex and Yukon are all.
But say you live like 2 hours away and have never gone before, would you still, and that where you could go back next summer if you wanted, would you still say it's worth it?
I think it's worth it to try, especially if your home park's like Darien Lake and doesn't have anything. Go for it.
It's like a preview, I guess, of like what's to come for next year.
And you said Darien Lake. Yeah, they don't do Holiday in the Park, so that's very true. And that's not, how far is, where's Darien Lake? Rochester, New York.
In New
right?
York, I actually went there
Yeah.
this year. It's about, I don't know, like half an hour from Buffalo, maybe a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah. Once you cross the border, you're only an hour from the park.
Oh, well, that's good to know. All right. Yeah. So that's pretty much all we have for today's episode. This is actually going to be the last one for a while. Like I said, Jason's in Italy, and I have a busy couple weeks ahead of me. So this was episode 12. Just want to thank everybody who's tuned in to the Thrill Life thus far. It's been awesome having a bunch of guests on, Thrills and Magic, Dr. Coaster, Chris from Airtime Thrills, Nathaniel Hawk 0G on Instagram, Park Hoppers Radio, Ethan Tyler. I think I hit everybody. Yeah. It's been pretty fun so far. I really enjoy doing this podcast, and don't worry, the podcast is not going away. We're just going to be taking a little break. But Ethan, Tyler, thanks again for coming on, guys. Anything else you want to add?
No, just thank you for having me. It's been great being on this podcast.
Yep. All right. Sounds good, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for more videos here on Coasters and Things YouTube channel. This is Nick from Beyond the Thrills here with Ethan from Boiler Coasters and Tyler Burke signing out. See you guys.